again. Another Thursday, another episode of LeadHerShip. Welcome. Welcome. Can you believe we are at episode 8? Holy moly. Can you believe October is almost over? I cannot believe it. Oh my goodness. Well, I am so excited to be here to share with you. Oh, here we are, friends. And here today, we're going to talk about the power of being uncomfortable. Okay. I think I'll speak for myself, have had a habit of seeking comfort. Okay. And that's kind of just the way society teaches us to be, the way the world teaches us to be, the way social media teaches us to be, the way the media teaches us to be, the way the culture is in our country, at least, is seeking comfort. It's marketed to you all the time, how to be more comfortable, how to be more cozy, all those things, right? Well, the reality is that we do not grow within our comfort zone. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. How to grow. That's what this podcast really is all about: healing, growth, leveling up, getting unstuck, experiencing something new, experiencing what we want to experience. And the reality is that's only going to come when we expand that comfort zone and it gets uncomfortable. For me personally, I have been a seeker of comfort for most of my life. So I'm teaching myself as I'm teaching each one of you today, because it's something that I wrestle with and am challenged with. I have this often, as we've chatted about in previous episodes, this want and desire to be home, to be in my personal space. And that's really that's where I really yearn to be. I am excited to experience a yearning to be out in the open. And I'm excited for the shift that I'm sure will occur as I continue walking this journey of expanding my comfort zone, where I'm going to get excited to be uncomfortable and excited for what's coming next. And I feel a little bit of that as I do this podcast. And so that's beautiful and exciting and very rewarding to be almost excited for some uncomfortableness instead of being fearful, excited. Also, this little piece I'll share with you is that, did you know fear and excitement, they're pretty much the same emotion we experience. It's felt the same way in our bodies. And so really the only difference is the thought that we're holding about it. If we're fearful, we're holding a fearful thought. If we're excited, we're holding an excited thought. It's all the same feeling inside of us. So if we just shift the thought, we can lean into more excitement rather than fear. How exciting. And so our comfort zone are just things we're used to doing. We're ways we're used to responding to life or to circumstances. And so for me, as we've shared, when I get uncomfortable, when I get pressed, when I'm feeling tired or overwhelmed or stressed, I want to be at home on my couch, covered up in my fuzziest blanket, on my laptop, working usually. It's usually creating or doing something, but I'm at home and I don't even really want to interact with my own family. Like, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I'm over here in my little personal bubble. And I have been known to be able to set up shop in that little bubble. I got all my things I need by me. I'm not getting up and moving. There's no movement happening. There is a lot of sitting, a lot of stagnation happening. That's what our comfort zone is. It stagnates our growth, okay? So the first thing I need to do, and the first step we take, is just to have awareness, right? We aren't going to shift into judgment of why in the heck can't I just get out of this. That's where I used to go, is, dang, Jennifer, what's wrong with you? How come you can't just be out? And why do you deal with things having to be in here in a little cocoon and a blanket and be away from people? that is just going to keep me stuck in that same situation. So my job is to have awareness. Just by having the awareness that, here I am again, sitting on the couch in my comfy blankie, not wanting to leave. I'm making it best situation possible. I'm not being real lazy, but I'm sitting here being accomplished, but this is not good for my body. It's not good for me to not have movement, to not be up and doing things, to be not connecting, which is that shutting out of everybody else in my house. I just want to be here. Just having the awareness, which sounds like, maybe even a little giggle. Here we are again, Jennifer Majors. How interesting, sitting on this couch. How's that working for you, Lovey? And just being really kind and loving to yourself. How's that working for you, sister girl? As you just keep sitting on that couch. Isn't this interesting? Would you like to experience something different? Well, yes, I would. Okay. So then just keeping that process, I might shift right then. That might give me enough positive energy and openness to where I'm like, I'm ready to get up now and clear up my space and maybe go out for a walk. That's the kind of thing that happens when we release the judgment of what we're doing and just move into awareness. Then we start to feel some freedom and things become a lot more graceful and a lot more easy instead of the grinding it out. You should be getting your ass up off of this couch and going for a walk. That's just going to kind of keep me feeling shrinking and small, at least for me. Maybe that works for you, but that doesn't really work for me. That makes me want to just stay stuck and be a little bit more fearful and judge myself a little bit more. So just allow for some awareness, okay? And then the joy can come if you're being kind to yourself with your thoughts. That's why I created this podcast in this way, because external experience and being uncomfortable really do come with first having some tools in our belt that are deep breathing, that are meditation, that's prayer, that's trust, that's learning how to live open, those kinds of things. Until we have those things, this can feel very scary, very a lot of unknown, a lot of confusion and stuff. So there's a process, okay? So don't beat yourself up. Don't expect perfection right out the gate. Understand that this is a process, that even if you're working on it up until you reach your deathbed, well, at least you have reached your deathbed with some awareness. There's a lot of people that live their whole entire life without a bit of personal or self-awareness of what's going on inside of themselves. And then they just stay stuck and they just don't ever grow or shift or change. They have this mindset that people don't change or that they can't change and stuff. And I invite you to just start with that awareness. Just start with the awareness. Just set your intention to be aware of when you're uncomfortable. And then one day you're going to go, here I am. I am uncomfortable. As soon as you have that, you've had awareness. Awareness is like 90% of the work. Then freedom can come as long as you don't judge it. That's the thing. And you could practice. Maybe you will judge it at the beginning. And so then your next step is to go, okay, when I'm feeling uncomfortable again, I'm going to have the awareness. And then I'd like to set my intention to then not be a jerk to myself. I'm going to be kind to myself. So then I'm not going to judge myself. And I mean, here's the thing, guys. It can go years. And for years or for months or for days or whatever, you're working on this task or this process. And then you find some more freedom in the next step. Okay. I don't know how long it's going to take you to get there, but what I do know is that if you just take the next step, you're going to get there. Okay. You're going to get to where you're supposed to be, whether it's that next step or 10 steps down the road. That's what I do know. Okay. So we're going to expand that comfort zone. first thing we're going to do is be aware that we want to expand that comfort zone, having that desire to expand it, the willingness to do it, the awareness that comes when maybe we're being comfortable rather than choosing uncomfortability. And then we're going to choose to release the judgment that comes on ourselves about it, or judging the situation or whatever. Then the willingness to continue to want to experience more uncomfortable experiences is where the miracles happen. It's where growth and change really shifts. It's where healing occurs. It's where you break the chains and the stop the cycles of abuse in your life or the cycles of trauma in your family line. It's where the things actually begin to happen when you're like, okay, here I am. I'd rather be comfortable. And this is what I know to be true for me. I want to experience. We talked about me talking to thousands of women on top of this on a stage, and I have got this I've got this experience with having some pretty amazing stage fright. Okay. So I want to do those things. So in order for me to do that, guess what? I'm going to have to be comfortable, or I don't get to do those things. So choosing to widen that comfort zone. Now, do I want you to always be uncomfortable? No, I don't want you to always be, no matter what, seeking comfort. I mean, there is something to be said for self-care, okay? Self-care versus coping. I want you to be leaning into self-care. So there is some times where sitting on the couch wrapped in a blanket in a cocoon with my little books and my journals around me is self-care. Okay. That doesn't mean I don't ever get to sit on my couch wrapped in a blanket ever again. I would be so sad if that were the case. That's not the case. I get to do that. But here's the thing. Then I get to do it with so much more joy, so much more intention, to where I'm really experiencing my couch and my fuzzy blanket that I love, that means so much to me. And I get to wrap myself in this warm cocoon of fuzzy blanket. And then I can practice like, oh, I don't need my family to be away from me. Here, I have space on each one of my sides for my sweet little grandbabies to come cuddle with me. And then here I have my daughter who wants to have a conversation with me, and then my husband who wants to spend time with me, and my son who wants to come say hello to his mom. And then I'm not closed. I'm open, because it's not this coping mechanism I've created out of safety and distrust for the world, but it's now a self-care that says, girlfriend, you have done an amazing job putting yourself out there, being uncomfortable. Come on in here and come underneath my arm and let me cuddle you with this warm and cozy blanket, okay? Because we need that too. All right, we need that too. So I invite you today. What is it that you feel called to expand in your comfort zone? You being called to step out and do something you've never done before? Are you being called to open a business or grow a team? Are you being called yourself to go speak on a stage in front of thousands of women? What is it in your heart that has been your desire that you've maybe squished down or pushed down or ignored out of fear of growing that uncomfortable muscle to expand your comfort zone? So, my friends, I invite you, let's look inside of ourselves and let's decide that we're going to push forward, that we're going to lean out of being comfortable. We're going to lean into uncomfortableness. We're going to expand that ability, and we're going to rock that. Okay. And then you're going to comment and let me know how this has happened, how it's working in your life. I'd love for you to take some time. If this messaging has been a blessing to you, if it's touched your life in some way, please like this, share it. Go to my YouTube. If you just go to YouTube, you search Jen Majors, Jen's just with one N. subscribe to my channel. That's where you can actually, if you're listening to this podcast on podcast apps, you can actually go to my YouTube and I have it right there so you can see my face and all the things. Please subscribe, please share, please like, please hit the little bell so that you can be notified when a new podcast release. I release a new podcast every single Thursday, 8 a.m. Alaska time. Just remember, I'm behind most places. So when it's 8 a.m. Alaska time, it's 4 hours on the East Coast later and that kind of thing. We are heading into November. So November is going to be a big month for the podcast. We're going to be chatting about be ready. We're going to be talking about letting go more of judgment, letting go of judgment. We're going to talk about taking 100% responsibility for your life and everything in it and how that is going to change things for you like you would not believe. And then November 17th happens to be John Majors and my wedding anniversary. And so I am going to have John Majors in with us. And we are actually going to be talking about our marriage and talking about, because we have a family business and we partner in marriage and in business, and some of the challenges and some of the triumphs and the things that we're learning and the ways that we're loving and growing together and in ourselves. And we're going to be sharing our story and some ups and downs and how we're still here 15 years later. Can you believe it? And thriving and growing and choosing love and choosing each other. And then we're going to end November on Thanksgiving with how gratitude changes everything. I'm going to take the month of December off. I'm going to give myself a break until January 1. And then January 1, peeps, we're starting the year off with creating a vision and mission for your life and business. So get ready. We're going to be more talking a little bit more about business related items. You guys know I'm the owner and broker of Majors Realty Group here in Fairbanks, Alaska. We serve the entire interior. And so I do have some things other than my personal story and how I've grown and shifted. I got some things to share with regard to business and stuff. So I'm excited to begin to dive into that. Be ready. These next few months are going to be fire. Thanks for sharing it with me. It's an incredible blessing. I'm growing. I hope you're growing. Until next time, my friends, have an amazingly blessed week.